Well, welcome back to Living with the Classic, another video on the Fern Gray XJC. It's coming along nicely. I have the windshield in and the rear window in, waiting to put the chrome trim around there, and lots of other things are on. But now I want to put sort of the face on. Let's put the headlights on, indicators, side lights, and the grille on. It's all laid out here. We have all the parts, and it's just going to be a lot of polishing. The chrome and the stainless, it's all pretty good, but you know, have to do that. I have painted the headlight buckets just black. Have some new headlights, and I'll show you why, for the main beams. And then we have some new bulbs and things, and just, you know, get all this together and onto the car. So over here we have a couple interesting things. These are the headlights that came on the car. They're not original. There's some aftermarket with like a big J there, but they're pretty cool. I like them and the owner likes them as well. However, the owner wants yellow, sort of French style yellow bulbs, so I got a hold of those. However, the main beams, they don't really suit the car with that little spike on there, so I got a set of original ones in here. So they need to go in, and we have new bulbs for them. Then we have the grill and everything, and it's just dirty from laying in a box for 2 years. All the chrome and everything. And then we have the grill as well, which I think will fit as well, up near the windshield. And then indicators and everything. What I'm really going to start with is actually just polishing some of the chrome and stainless. This won't be the final polish, but I think when things look this way, with, you know, not pitting, but just like a little bit of dirt on there, I like to use outsole, and then I use a Jaguar's product, which is their metal polish, for the final polish, because that has a bit of wax in it as well, and that protects it when everything's on the car. But this does a great job of just cleaning everything off. So what should we start with? How about we start with the grill? And, you know, cleaning up bright work is not really difficult. It's pretty fun. When you have things like grills like this with a lot of small areas, I like to use a toothbrush. I think it works really, really well. So I'm just going to apply some product onto here. Then just work it in. And yeah, I'm going to be here for a while working on this, but in a little while you'll see a nice shiny grill, and we'll put it onto the car. We're already looking a lot more shiny, and well, I'm not going to trick you guys. I actually swapped out the grill. I have a lot of these laying around, or a couple of them at least, and even when polishing this one, you see it turns out pretty good, the old one, but it's just so pitted here in the middle, which is quite common. And this one is not that pitted. And of the spare ones I have, it's the nicest one. And I just really quickly grabbed it from storage, and I just polished the outside edge of it a bit, but it's looking really, really good. And the fins here are really not that pitted at all. So it's a better grill, and I think the customer will be happier with this one. Oh, I got a couple more minutes to spend on it, getting it looking nice. And then, yeah, before we continue, yeah, it does have all the mounting. Good, because sometimes the threads are bad and then you can't mount it. No, this one's good. I'll continue with it, but you said it's starting to look pretty good. And, you know, I work it in with a toothbrush or microfiber towel, and then wipe everything off with the microfiber towel. But I think this is really good, and I think I have has a bit of pitting on the center bar, but we'll fit this one, and I'll look through my parts another day, because I can swap that out on the car, because I might have a better center bar for him. When I fit any sort of trim to a car like this, I always use like cavity wax. I spray it on any area where, you know, moisture will creep behind, and this stuff will just wipe off the paint as well. It's no big deal. And that way, especially with something like freshly painted, if I were to scratch it when I put the grill on, this will go into like those crevices, and it won't rust. And you can just wipe it off the paint later. But next guy will thank you for doing this. Now we're ready to put the grill in. I'm pretty happy with the results of that. Now my plan is, I don't have the lower panel in place and the lower grill, so I should be able to get my hand in lots of places to secure this into place. Let us see. I can see I have a little bit more polishing to do in some places, but it is a lot better than the other grill. And yeah, you can always replace the grill later if you were to find an even better one. A bit more polish, and I got these rings looking good, and I also had a look through my spares, and actually the ones that came in the car are the best ones of any of them I have. However, when someone fitted these headlights, they're so weird. There's some Lucas light, and then I think they've been sealed beam, and then someone has like literally just thrown in a light there with some homemade thing. We're not going to use those, of course, but when they got these mounting rings on, they also cut them and glued them on somehow. So I had to go through my parts, and I found 2 decent rings, and then polish those up. So when you're doing projects like this, it is good to have a lot of parts. Let's see. So these is one of the buckets that I painted yesterday. Let's just get these. Yeah, they're not. Someone just stuck that bullet connector on there. So we'll have to do a little bit of work with the wiring on here as well later. But that's not... Oh, come on. Is that all you got? That isn't today's issue. Today's issue is just getting it all on there, looking nice. I think that's all it's got. Well, they're held in place with these screws. So let us see. I'm actually trying to remember which way around they go. I think they go with this way on top. I actually have to go look in my own car and remember if it's this way up or that way up. Okay, I figured out which way they go. And almost forgot, where did I put? Once again, we're applying a rust-proof wax in here. This is also a place where they do love to rust out. There's like a seam in here. There we go. And some little screws all the way around. Got the new light unit here, and I put a new bulb in as well. These rings love to rust here on the inside. This one, we caught it just in time. But if you put a little bit of this on here, it's going to be fine. And let's put this in here. There's a modified wiring because this car, of course, came with probably sealed beams originally. So the socket in here won't work, but we'll just continue using what the previous people did because I actually think it's pretty good. So that goes there. And that goes in there, stuck in there nicely. Let's see, probably that way up. there we go. And if you have the correct screws in there, you can just slot it on that way. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit more fiddly. But it's just a matter of tightening these down. So they're not the easiest cars in the world to change bulbs on. That's why, at least with headlights, when you have them off, I always put new bulbs on. Now, it is through the beauty ring. I'm trying to remember if there is a difference between right and left on those. Slight difference. I think this might be the correct one. There we go. One of these nice shiny screws. And that's on there nice and tight. Just get, fingerprints and some of that wax off. And that looks really, really nice. Starting to look more like a car. So let's do, I think we'll do the indicator, because then we can get the hands behind here, and then we'll do the big headlight over there. Indicator here ended up being a little bit of a nightmare, and I'll kind of show you why, or not a nightmare, just all of the old bolts in there, and the bolts going through, they were all really rusty. So I found a suitable stainless size that I'm going to use, and then I had to drill out all the holes a little bit. But got the last one in now, and it's, let me show you here. This is one from the other side. So you see, I forgot, they'd all snapped off when I took them out. So knocked those out, and then I put these stainless fasteners through instead, and it seems to have worked. And of course, once again, used a lot of cavity wax to make everything look nice. And yeah, everything seems to be in order. And here we have the glass, which is in pretty nice shape. And this is just plastic, the chrome on here, so you can't do that much with it. But this is the first time that we're doing something that will add a little bit of color to the car, which is cool. Let's see if it wants to. It's supposed to slot in there. There we go. And that all screw. Always be delicate with old plastic when you tighten it. Right, there we go. That's tight enough. Now, indicator's on. We have one of the main beams on. We'll move on to the low beams, which I have marked left hand and right hand side. So we'll grab the left hand side here, and we're going to open it up because I'll have the screws here, because I'm going to change out the bulb. And these I haven't bothered painting because they're going in here, you can't see them, and I'm also going to put some rust proofing undercoating on them. But let's see, these are different than the high beams because you have to take the screws out all the way to get the ring out. I'll take these apart, and I'll end up doing the same thing, polishing them up, making them look nice, including these rings that go on top And on the Series 2, you have a net in there because this is your fresh air intake for some extra air. There's a lever you can pull by your feet. And you open up and then there's a hose that goes back in there. So you need to have the correct ones. And the ring. We'll take it out. And that is, I think it's not original, but I think it looks really nice with the J on there though, so that's nice. And then we have this part as well. And that. So some assembly required, but same thing as before. Put that in there. We'll get the wires pulled through and everything. Connect it up, and then we're good to go. This is definitely not the first time this car has either been restored or painted. So a lot of the wiring has been put together with, you know, those cubes that you screw connectors in. So I'm replacing, so I'm not the one to cut this. There was a screw connector here. Otherwise I would have, you know, pulled the wire all the way back. But I used these, use these sort of solder connections that you apply with a heat gun, and yeah, everything's quite nice and toasty. But that's all together, and same procedure here. Just some of this wax. I might need to get a new can. Sometimes it just plugs up. Time for a new can. I'll go get that, spray this around. We'll mount this, and then it's time for this headlight. Polish up the ring, and it's also treated with wax on the inside. Here is the headlight going in. Honestly, I quite like the J on there, so we're keeping that. And what we're doing now is just going to swap out the bulb here, if that's possible. Oh, please don't tell me they did something silly with this one as well. What in the world? I think this is a converted seal beam again. Huh. Someone has... If you look here, I think someone has welded that bulb in there. Huh. So these are possibly from some older car. That's fun. Look through my stash of stuff and see if I have some headlights. So went through my stash and I found these. Pretty nice set of matching Bosch, but most importantly, they're H4. So I can get the bulbs in that we want. These are regular halogens, but they're the yellow kind that you had in France back in the day. And it does give a pretty cool look. And these are the ones that they should make the whole light look yellow even when they're off, it says. So let's see. Yeah, there's a bit of a yellow tint to it. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there is. When you look at them straight on, they look yellow. Great. So we'll get the little protective cover on there. We'll plug it and see which way it goes. That way up. We'll plug it in. Start mounting it. Let's see. Get the wire to go back through again. I just pulled it out too. Perfect. And then we have our little chrome bezel ring here. Once again, it's always a matter of trying to figure out which way it was on, but I think that's it. And I think that these are the screws. And time for the outer chrome ring. Just trying to line up screw hole. And these are often in pretty bad shape. I have a few of these laying around, but actually the ones on the car ended up being the nicest ones. And they're not perfect, but they shine up pretty well. And it's one of those things you can very easily replace those if you find ones that are a bit better. Oh, we have half the front on. Now I'll just do the other two, but you don't have to see that. It's the exact same. And then we've really started to put a face on this car again. All right, it's the next day. Ended up staying up quite late, finishing up everything. It's all in place. Let me show you. The front is complete except the lower grille and the bumper, which we'll do later. But we have the lights in, the grills, indicators, side lights. It's looking really good. Let me show you guys. Here it is. Really, really happy with how everything came out. It's all in. All the wiring's being fixed. It's all looking really, really nice. And this color really is starting to pop now when you see chrome on it and when you're seeing like other colors. Like the real first start was, you know, starting to see chrome on the car. That really, really did a thing, and seeing the black on the top. And it's nice with the glass in. Will look a lot better, and of course we've cleaned it. But no, really, really happy with the results. I'm going to continue with lots of things underneath. The exhaust needs to go on. I have new brake hoses. I'm going to finish off all of the door seals on this side. It's all done on the driver's side. Need to do it on this side. Sound deadening's in, so it's carpets and things next. And then headliner. Let me know, would you guys want to see interior and carpets going? Is that a fun thing to see? Just let me know in the comments down below, because it's always hard to sort of know what is fun to film for you guys and what is, you know, maybe not as fun. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, you know, seeing the progress on this car. We're getting pretty close. So I think the next time you see it, I will have done a couple things, and then depending on what you guys say, we'll show the interior. And then I have like there's lots of sort of things I'm not really going to show, because it's just I also need to get things done. Like I need to do the fuel system in the boot. All the new fuel tanks are in and all of that, but I have new valves and everything, so it's fuel injected to change everything. So that's all going in. I have a new fuel pump because the old fuel tanks were really, really bad. Even though the old fuel pump works, it means all that rust and junk has gone through that pump. So put a new one in, new filters, everything. So that's going to be coming up really soon. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm out. This is Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.